What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your co-host ZD. Here with my lovely co-host ZD on this Monday, October
Hey, you're
27th.
CJ. You're CJ.
I am CJ.
You said ZD twice.
Oh, I'm fucking
You
zooted.
don't see it back.
We gonna see it. I'm CJ and this is ZD. Y'all know the vibes. Come on, bro. Here on this Monday, October 27th, beautiful
That was
night.
funny.
We have a lot of games that's on the docket tonight, so we'll give you a little preview, and then we'll talk about our, Thunder and Lakers analysis from this past games that we have gone on since we recorded on Saturday, and then we're also talking about some of the storylines of the week. We have a couple topics that we could chop it up with y'all, and kind of see what we think of the season so far, man. But how you
Yeah,
doing
bro.
tonight, ZD?
I'm good, man. I coming off that 50-piece nugget from Austin Reaves. I mean, come on, man. Like, god damn it. If people are watching me right now, bro, I'm here to tell you that Cat's a $40 million player. We've seen this
Yes.
a lot in the NBA with these
I
undrafted
bet you
cats.
were so happy seeing that shit. Right,
Dude,
you were
I
probably
was telling my, I'm watching the game. I'm like Kings versus Lakers. I'm thinking it's gonna be, and I'll explain it later. But I'm thinking it's gonna be like, all right. I see
right.
Luca got ruled out, whatever. But I'm still excited. I'm like, I want to see what AR can do. Game starts up, bro. It's good pace off rip. I noticed this. The Kings are not a good team.
No,
They were really struggling to guard him, and it's just my excitement, bro. I think I'm just excited. Look, they play the Trailblazers again tonight, so I love the back-to-backs because it means I get to watch them twice, 2 days in a row. But
hmm
I know they have the late game tonight, so I'm gonna try to stay up as best as I can. But other than that, bro, I'm good. Got a workout in, made a video, get to see my girl. I'm gonna eat some good food after this and watch some good hoops, so I can't complain. And if we're on the podcast, it's a great day. We know we can always count on three man. But CJ,
hmm
how you feeling, man? How you doing?
man, I'm doing great, bro. It's like you said, it just being able to watch your team play back to back, or two, three, four times in a week. It's awesome, bro. It's the best time of year, in my opinion. Just being able to sit down. At the end of the night that you're gonna be able to just sit down and watch some good hoops and hopefully competitive games, and it's just hopefully your team wins. Maybe one of your players on your dynasty is
Exactly.
gonna pop off. You know what I mean? So it's great, bro. I love it. I think the dynasty league also adds like another aspect of watching the game, and it's like, oh man, let me go check to see if this guy's available or if he's on anyone's roster, and trying to be ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and just
Stay
trying to
ahead of
trying
it.
to be tapped in, bro. And I'm doing great, bro. It's awesome. I cannot complain, man. I think we've been locked in. We've been doing the live streams, and I at least want to do at least one of those a week just to kind of help us grow, help us get more eyes on the podcast. And I mean, we're watching the games anyways, so it's like might as well, join a live stream and it gets clipped up, and then reactions, and that's how you get more eyes on what we're really trying
Yeah,
to
like
build.
people can
So
get behind that.
but no, it's just exciting, man. So much going on, and I'm not gonna lie, like I've kind of been tapped out, like not really paying as close attention to NFL because of the NBA being on.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's just kind of how it goes. I mean, it ebbs and flows type of thing for me. Like whenever NFL is the only thing on, I'm locked in, and I'm still keeping up with it. I'm in a fantasy league, and I want to win that money, so definitely locked in. Just obviously if there's a game on a Thursday night, or honestly even Sunday nights, like I'm probably watching those like I was yesterday. I had the quad box on and was chilling with JG, and he had the Sunday night game on like the TV, but I was locked in, bro. And just a lot of good hoops, man. Just a lot of good games that have been being played lately, and decided to talk about some of the storylines in the NBA
Yeah.
that are going on. But yeah, no, I'm doing great.
Yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I'm gonna just start it off with the LA and Thunder analysis, I think, because my team earned a season highlight last night. But yeah, Luka Doncic gets ruled out 4 hours before the game. We saw Shams Charania break. We haven't spoken about this yet. We're a couple podcasts behind, so for the audience and the listeners and the audio listeners, we apologize. But that scandal that's going on with Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, I'm sure people have heard by now. That whole gambling thing, it's kind of impacted the league in a certain way. So Shams
Definitely.
Charania was said that Adam Silver sent out a memo today speaking about the clarity surrounding the injuries in the lineups. Um, Luka was ruled out about 4 hours prior to game time, and like as we know, LeBron James has also been out with sciatica for 5 to 6 weeks now going on. So it's been a while for him. He's still, quote unquote. JJ said that they're being cautious with his return, but nonetheless, that means Austin Reaves has to step up and be the guy now. So with Austin Reaves, Vando, Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, and company, Gabe Vincent, right? All those dudes really had to step in and get it up. But first quarter, bro, I'm sitting down. I'm like, I don't even know what to expect. We go out there and blitz the Kings. And I just told you, bro, the Kings are not a good defensive team. I think their screen navigation was horrible. I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching Austin Reaves go over, 1, 2, 3 dribbles, get to a pull up or a little floater or get the ball to DeAndre Ayton. And we really had that 2-man game working in that first quarter between him and DA. And I wanted to come on here and give DA props, bro. I hear the DeAndre Ayton haters are very quiet right now. And I think it's because he's with dynamic guards who actually give him the ball in the right spots for him to be successful. But anyways, Austin Reaves comes out blazing. Got a couple good assists. I think Rui Hachimura was instrumental as well. I saw he was trying to get into a rhythm, and I'm very excited because as a Lakers fan, like of course we know LeBron James and Luka Doncic and what they bring to the table, but I love seeing my team go out there and effing compete when we don't have any real reason to win that game. We had no business winning that game. We don't have any perennial all stars on that team like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis. That's a pretty scary offensive trio. And kind of moving into the second quarter, that's things slowed down for us a little bit. We only scored 26 points in that second quarter, and the Kings were able to come out and catch fire a little bit. Zach LaVine was putting on a show. Domantas Sabonis really struggled from the field in this one. And I think it was because of DeAndre Ayton's defense, and that really shined in the second quarter. He got a couple blocks on him, which were pretty nice. But I was very impressed with how we were able to still weather the storm, because that's also another thing that we've tended to do. Last season, I brought this up to you. We let go of the rope way too easily, man.
Mm-hmm.
These teams go on 12, 14-point runs, and JJ calls a timeout. I see heads drop, and, I hated that. And that doesn't seem to be our team this year, which is really exciting, bro. That's not something that I think I'm going to be griping on as much. And I saw that a lot in the second quarter when the Kings went on that run. And again, Austin Reaves is just being the hub, bro, being able to slow down the pace, control the game. And Russell Westbrook, I wanted to bring him up too. I was tweeting about it. This is where he shined. He had a nice little move on Jake LaRavia over your point and looking at him, finish him with style. And we've come on this podcast and told you guys, like, he's a top 200 player in the NBA. There's no reason he should not be on a roster.
Mm-hmm.
He went in there and made an instant impact for them, and he was hitting corner threes. I think he had a flurry where he hit 2 threes in a row. And Westbrook's turning it up, showing out. So Light the Beam was feeling themselves in that second quarter. We go into halftime. I think it was damn near tied. Third quarter we come out, bro, and hey, I think this is where JJ told us we got to hit the ground running. Austin Reaves getting to the foul line. He ended up finishing with 22 free throw attempts, bro, and we lived in the bonus. And I'm gonna be honest, the Lakers, if you guys you're probably not really, really deep into the analysis like CJ and I are, but if you've studied over the last 5 years, the Lakers get some of the most foul calls out of any team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's just been, I don't know what it is. We do have Luka and LeBron, like AD, Austin Reaves, they're all pretty good players at drawing fouls. But I do think that's pretty interesting that we're top 5 in free throw rate over the last 3 years, but we lived in the bonus. We were able to get easy buckets there at the line because we have a high percentage shooter there. And then what that does is it allows us to set up our defense. And when you're going up against a decently high powered offense in the Kings, you want to make sure you can set your defense. So we actually only gave up, I think it was 28 points in that third. So a good shift, a 10-point difference between that second quarter and that third quarter in terms of defense. And I think JJ's done a really good job of harping on the guys to always play defense. That's something you can always do, no matter if shots are dropping or not. And I think that was something that, again, it was able to shine through in that third quarter. And I'm very excited, for the types of game situations we're going to be put in later in the season, because I think it's going to help, test our team out. And the Kings shot 42% from deep in this one. They were on fire from three. And in that fourth quarter, man, it was honestly a battle. I think in this moment, JJ knew that he couldn't go deep into his bench. He wasn't going to play Bronny James. He didn't touch the court. This is it was a competitive game. It was a hard fought game, and we kind of went with our starters down the stretch, and they were able to, finish them off for us. I think Austin Reaves had this one fast break in the fourth quarter, and this was for the triple double, for a 50-point triple double. He swings it to LaRavia. He actually gets blocked by Keon Ellis, and that was for the triple double. And I'm like, man, he could have had, at this point, Austin Reaves got like 47, so he was gonna get 50. But yeah, the 50-piece McNugget, it's the Austin Reaves game, and I'm not like overjoyous, per se. It's the Kings, right? Like they're not a high-powered team or anything, but I think for LeBron James and Luka Doncic being out, the way that DeAndre Ayton performed, the way that Rui Hachimura stepped up, and obviously we earned that season highlight with Austin Reaves with the 50-point near triple-double. Like we may not see that type of performance again for a little while. So very blessed to say that he's on the Lakers and he's on my squad, and we were able to get the W 127-120. So I cannot complain, man. I'm very excited for this next game against Portland, where Portland has way better defense. And I think Tumani Kamara and Drew Holiday are going to terrorize Austin Reaves a little bit. I still think he gives us 20, 22 points. There's no doubt he's going to be one of the only players that's going to be asked to score the ball at that type of level, and the ball's going to be in his hands a lot. I just hope that DA, he's playing against his former team. He should be juiced up to go. And hopefully Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura continue to shoot well from deep. I think if that happens, we have a pretty good chance to beat Portland on a back-to-back, which is pretty tough. They're a well-coached team by Tiago Splitter now, not Chauncey Billups, right, because of that scandal, but they're well-coached. They play hard, Shaedon Sharp, Klingon, Hansen Yang. I think Denny Advia is really having a breakout season if people didn't already know he was good. So they have a lot of different pieces, man, that are going to make it difficult for us tonight. And we got the late game tonight. I'm going to try to stay up. If not, I'll just finish out the game tomorrow. But do my best to catch this one at 9:30, and I'm excited, man. I can't complain. I think last night just showed me the effort level and where it's going to be. I saw JJ. This was a really dope clip. That there's a clip put out by Lakers media. JJ was talking about that. He's like, this is called a baseline. He's like, this is baseline. He's like, now this is something I can point to and be like, why aren't we playing like this? Because if we can do it, yeah, he was saying like this is now the lowest level that we can play at. Because if I can point to it and say, why aren't you playing like this? That means we're doing something wrong. Everything else has to be better from here on out. And I love that, man. I think with the contract extension, our team's just really gelling, bro. Yeah. I can't lie. I see Joy like smiling, like you said, DeAndre Ayton smiling. Austin Reaves is smiling. Him and Luka going back and forth on IG about getting a 50. Like it's put a tear in my eye, bro. Honestly, like I haven't seen this in a while from my team, and it does bring joy to my heart.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that was my main takeaway whenever I watched that Luka game when he dropped 49. I was like, bro, he just looks happy, and I feel like a lot of people like overlook that, and they don't understand how big of a deal that is when you're a professional athlete. Because obviously you're doing it, you're great at what you do, but like if you don't really care about it, if you're not passionate and showing like expressing happiness whenever you're on the court, I feel like it's hard for you to really like become like or like, live up to the potential. You know what I mean? Like
the best version of
yourself. Yeah, but no, I agree, bro. Y'all are clicking. Y'all are looking good. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that Luka Doncic out notification, I was like, man, the Lakers finna drop one. But AR, man, it was an AR game. So I think he's been a great player for really the past 2-3 seasons, and I think he's just proven that to us that he is a $40 million man. So it's gonna be tough whenever that time comes. But until then, I mean, he's on your squad, and he could potentially be maybe a third All-Star on this team, depending on where y'all's standing is in the All-Star break. But I think just with the way he's been playing, bro, he's incredible, especially, both of the two main guys on your team are out, and he's able to step up and do, like you said, probably something we might not see for the rest of the season. This might be Austin Reaves' game of his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unreal.
But
it's the game of his career.
Crazy. But no, bro, it's been super exciting. I've been keeping an eye on the Lakers, just because you're the boy and you talk about them a lot, so I try to keep my eye on them. But Man, kind of going into the Thunder game, we the last time we played was Saturday. We actually shot 3-man weave, so didn't watch the first half. But ended up watching, of course, like the condensed game, like the highlights and stuff, and it just seemed like not we were in control the whole time, but man, kind of what we were saying about the Hawks, it just doesn't look like their offense is clicking that well. Like I think, they shot pretty well from the 3-point line. I think they shot 41%, but I think it just was we were the better team that night. I think we caused so much havoc in the passing lanes. We create turnovers and it gets people off their game. Like I said, they shot
Yeah,
pretty well. They had more free throw attempts. They had a better 3-point percentage, but we just our ability to be able to get to the rim, I think, is what makes us such a good team. And obviously, Shea being one of the best at doing that alone. But AJ Mitchell has been easily the obviously we know Shea's the best player on the Thunder, right? He's been
yeah,
the other person to the most surprising for me to step up and be probably the front runner for six man of the year as of right now. Come a week into the season, I think he's kind of proven to us that he's able to score, and I think he's going to be in a lot of people's scouting report now. Obviously, it's the beginning of the season, so don't want to overreact too much, but from what he's been showing us, averaging 18, 4, and 4 assists, he's proven to us that he's kind of just been able to plug in right to what we already had going, and that's exactly what we're needing with a lot of the injuries that you say that we're dealing with right now. Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace has been in and out of the lineup. I think Caruso I think they're going tonight, but he was out last game. There's been huge losses that we've been having to deal with so early on. But I think the way that our team is built and what they've proven to me this whole past season is that we're always going to have the next man up type of mentality. And I think that goes a long way. And that is why we were able to have those moments in the playoffs, going against the Nuggets, going game 7, and then obviously the Pacers going 7 as well. I think that was a testament to the type of playing style that we've been had for the past 3
yeah,
seasons.
of
And it's
course.
just kind of on the biggest stage now. And, we were able to, get that chip. But bro, it's been incredible, man. This was the Chet game. I told you earlier he shot 6 from 8 from the 3. I think if
Yeah,
I mean, I told you, bro, like if he's able to just to consistently have, like, you don't even need to be a sniper, but like 35, 36% from 3, that's just going to change Chet's game and what he's able to do because he's so versatile. He's able to defend pretty much 1 through 5, and once you get to the rim, he's more than likely going to block you. So if he adds that jump shot, has to have the big man step out, which I think that's what you said that was going to be who you said Chet was going to be the game changer in this game because of that, with Porzingis having him put in so many actions and plays and stuff to where
tough
you had
for
to
him.
draw him out.
Yeah, he
You
can't.
you
Yeah,
you definitely said that, bro. And I remember because I mean that's pretty much what he was doing. I think his jump shot looks a lot more fluid. That's the thing I've noticed with it. It doesn't look as like a hitch. Like there's still a little bit of a hitch, but it just looks smooth now. I think obviously he was
yeah,
in
it
the
looks
gym.
smooth.
It looks pretty similar. It still looks pretty flat for the most part, but I think he's shooting it at a higher release point. So it's harder for them to block him because obviously he's like 6'2", so but yeah, no, Chet had an incredible game. Shea did his thing. I think I said he was probably gonna get 30, and he ended up getting 30 perfectly. He didn't play the whole fourth quarter, so that's good, especially coming off these back to back double overtime games, and then just kind of going into this game, you don't want to have to do that again. Hopefully, so the fact that they were able to get much needed rest and kind of you know
Yeah,
keep what we this game was an example of what happens whenever we're hitting our 3-point shots. I feel like we didn't hit a crazy amount, but we shot at a better percentage, and we were just like I said, field goal percentage in general. We shot more, got more shots up, and shot them at a higher clip. So I mean, that's a recipe for a win. And when we were able to hold a team to 100 points, like you said, if you're able to hold a team to 110 points, that's more than likely going to be a win. We were able to hold the Hawks, who coming into the season, we thought they were probably going to be at least a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, they started off a little rocky, but I think we're at just another level right now, man. And it's incredible to see because we're not healthy. We don't have our second or third player or best player, depending on who you ask. You know what I mean? So it's getting to that point of the year where it's just like, man, I just want to see us healthy, man. Obviously, it's great that we're still getting wins, but I think this is just seeing the roster at full strength is what I'm worried about at this point because I don't want all these little knick-knack injuries to add up. Of course, like I would rather have it now opposed to happening in the postseason. But I think it's where we position ourselves very well, being 3-0, and going against the Mavericks tonight. So it's gonna be Cooper Flag show, and hopefully him and Chet are gonna meet at the rim. We'll see how that goes. Chet actually got postered twice. It happens, bro. It
Yeah,
happens. It's a part of
yeah.
being a shot blocker. But
And he did too, though.
yeah. Oh yeah, with Zion. Yeah, it happens. But no, yeah. So I'm excited for this game. I think this is gonna be a tough one for the Mavs, bro. Coming off of a
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
back, they just played last night, and I think us not having a day's rest. We played last game was Saturday. It's Monday, obviously. I think we're gonna be juiced up. I think AJ Mitchell is going to make a huge difference in this game. I'm hoping that he kind of keeps up what he's been doing. And then I think it's gonna be another Shea performance, man. Obviously, they have a big front court with Flag, Davis, and Lively, and then
Yeah, that have to be the guards.
I think Gafford's still injured, right? So I think he's out.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have that huge front court, but no point guards. So I think it's going to be hard. I mean, there's not much players in the league that guard Shea well, and I don't think they have anybody. I mean, they might put um
PJ?
yeah
Nah.
PJ
But like
or what's the oh dude I'm gonna be
Max
pissed.
Christie?
No, not Max Christie. I need to look it up. Sorry. But
No, all good.
that's besides the point. I just don't think they have a player that is going to be able to play Shea well. Obviously, they can probably
Yeah.
switch and throw different bodies
What
at
they
him.
can.
I'm expecting them to do that, but I think it's gonna be hopefully another performance by Chet. I think he's gonna keep this how he's been playing up. I've been super impressed with his ability on the offensive side of the ball this season. I think it's going to still keep up, or this will be a good test to show me not if it's a fluke, but if he's just having good matchups or he's just feeling himself, or if it's really him, this is what he's going to be. I feel like
Yeah,
that's always something as basketball fans, we over exaggerate on what happens because we just got to base off what we see. So if he keeps this up for I say at least a quarter of a season. I'm like, or maybe even less, maybe like 10, 15 games. I'm like, yeah, I think this might be the Chet we're getting this season. So, he's doing little little step back threes, bro. It was looking good, man. So I think, with him playing like that, with Shea in MVP form from last season, AJ Mitchell doing his thing, Cason Wallace, and, being able to defend at a high level. And whenever he does get the opportunities, seems like he's pretty a knockdown shooter from three, probably one of our better
oh yeah.
shooters. And I think we got Caruso this game too. So I think, we're slowly getting back to full strength. Obviously, still missing J Dub and like Kenrich Williams and a lot of the other bench pieces. But I think when we have two out there, when we got number 7 as well, I think it's showing to me that like, man, this is we might have something going on, man. We might be able to
100%.
get back to that mountaintop and hopefully
Yeah, bro.
because that's the goal. And I'm excited, bro. I think this is gonna be a good one. I think it's just a bad matchup for them coming off of back to back going against the defending champ. Yeah, you're home, but that's not that far away from OKC. It's not a far drive. I feel like people might make that drive. It's not like
I
it's
was gonna say
across the country or
they're right
nothing.
across the road.
Yeah,
They're just down there a little bit if you OKC and
a
just
little
up
up
there
if
if
you're
you got
yeah.
it.
So I think that's one of those games. We obviously went to a playoff game. It was a decent turnout for the Thunder fans, so I think it's
You
gonna be
did.
good, bro. Like when you're one of the best teams, or if you when you're the best team in the league coming off of a chip, I feel like you get that crowd. It's not just how it used to be before you won. I think all the eyes are on us. We got a target on our back, so everyone's gonna play their A game anytime we come into their arena. But I think this is a good one for us, bro. I think Chet's gonna have like you said. I think he's gonna be really our game changer for probably up until J Dub ends up coming back. I feel like our season is really gonna be in his hands because we know what Shea's gonna do, and we know what J Dub is gonna do when he comes back. So I think if Chet can keep
Sure.
this consistency up, scoring 25 on 57% from the field,
That would be good.
I think it's a recipe for success, man. So can't wait to see this game, and excited to see what we end up looking like at full strength.
Yeah, for sure, brother. I think yeah, the Mavericks, they're interesting. I think Cooper Flag, people forget he's the youngest player in the NBA out of everyone.
Hmm.
We'll see what he can do against the Thunder tonight. So I think that matchup's one of the better ones that we got on this slate. But we'll dive in. We'll preview some of them. I know it's we're recording this on it's Monday, October 27th. It's 7 p.m. So there's a couple games that have already started the 6 p.m. slate ones. We'll go over them real quick. We got the Cavs versus the Pistons. The Cavs were still without Max Strus, Darius Garland, and the Pistons are without Jaden Ivey. I think Karis LeVert and Marcus Sasser were also listed as questionable. I don't know if they're in because I don't have the box pulled up in front of me. But what I will say, it's interesting. I think the Cavs are in a tough spot, kind of forcing Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell to be the main creator just because of Darius Garland's absence. I think Max Strus provides the 3-point shooting that they kind of need on the wing. But I will say, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley got to step up here. I think the Pistons have a really good defender in Asar Thompson, who's going to be on Donovan Mitchell, who might be able to slow him down. And I think Cade Cunningham needs to help Jalen Duren get going a little bit. I
Hmm.
think for the Pistons to win, Jalen Duren has to have a big game here. So Cade has had a pretty quiet first 3 games, not too bad. I think he's averaging like 23 and 7,
Hmm.
but you would like to see that improve a little bit more, especially coming off the All NBA third team last season. So that matchup should be very good. That's one I'm hoping to watch a little bit. I'll probably catch the highlights of it, but that's a good Eastern Conference matchup right there. 2 playoff teams solidified.
Hmm.
Hopefully, when Jaden Ivey comes back, we can see the Pistons at full strength. And we know what the Cavs look like with Darius Garland and Max Strus in the lineup. So, yeah, I think it just comes down to how Asar Thompson guards Donovan Mitchell, whether or not he can be that offensive creator, and then DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley stepping up. And, yeah, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham getting it going.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree, but I think that's like you said, Eastern Conference playoff, type of matchup, and with the Cavs, man, they're not looking as dominant as we probably thought they would be. I know the Nets kind of gave them a little fits when they played against them, but I think they're just not healthy. I feel like that's been something that we've been saying about the Cavs for the past couple of seasons. Is just when they do have a healthy team, they get injured in the playoffs, or if they're not healthy during the season, obviously they don't do well or they're not as seeding well for a playoff. But I think this is a good matchup. I like it. Like you said, just ready to see a Cade game. Like you said, he has been
Yeah.
quiet. Obviously, he's putting up pretty good numbers, but coming off that All NBA season, you're kind of expecting him to take that next leap, I guess, and drop a 35, 40 piece or something like that. But they've been winning. 2-1, can't really complain. I think it's just him getting to going. But yeah, like you said, it's can the Pistons stop Donovan Mitchell, or like you said, can Asar Thompson, you know, uh, slow him down or.
Yeah, that'll be the matchup. Like you're
Mhm.
saying, they're going to stick him on there, no double. Think he'll get 20, 25, but as long as he doesn't pop for 40, this game should be within 5, 6 points, I think. So it'll be a solid matchup.
Yeah.
I don't have the score in front of me, but it's probably competitive.
Ooh. Actually, it's not that competitive.
Are they blowing them out?
It's 40-26 with like 7 minutes in the second, so they got time. But
The Cavs are blowing them out.
Cavs, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, I'm sure who's popping.
Spider and
Yeah,
Jared
Spider.
Allen has nine,
Oh, okay, yeah.
9-2. But going into the next game on that the 6 p.m. slot, got the Magic versus 76ers. The Magic are without Mo Wagner for this matchup. The Sixers will be without Embiid, McCain, Trenton Wofford, Paul George, and Dominic Barlow. Key storylines, man. Can Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe lead the Sixers to another win? Can the Magic keep it going? Do the Magic have enough spacing with Bane to allow Banchero to be more efficient? I feel like this has been really,
Yeah.
really the talk for me because I'm super high on the Magic, and from what we've seen with Paolo this season, bro, it's looking a little little questionable, but obviously beginning of the season, but these first 3 games, man, I think he's had really one good game, and that was the last game, and I think they still ended up losing that game as well. So it's looking a little choppy for them right now in Orlando, but I think this is gonna be a good matchup, bro. Like 76ers played the Hornets very well. I think they yesterday,
Yeah,
right? Was that
yeah,
yesterday? When they came back
yeah.
and beat the Hornets, coming off of back to back. I think this is going to be a big game for the Magic to really show us who they can be. I
Or
think
2 days ago.
was it Saturday?
Yeah, I think yesterday the Hornets played the Wizards.
Wizards. That's who they play. Yeah, I keep getting those games mixed up. But
It's whatever.
regardless, yeah. The other
Yeah,
day, but nah, yeah, I think this is it's gonna be a good statement game for the Magic. They got to prove to us, yes, the 76ers got a really good explosive backcourt that can go up, pop off. We saw it that first game, but is your defense going to be good enough to stop them? And I think it has the potential to. We've seen what the Magic's defense can be. I think it's just the new team, the getting everyone on the right page, the continuity, right? We always bring that word up whenever we talk about teams and how well they are. I think they just need to build that up a little bit more. Desmond Bain
I agree.
hasn't really popped off, I would say. He's provided a lot of spacing for them though, and I think that's well needed. I think he's done more for Franz than anything. It looks like
Yeah,
he's
I
kind of,
agree.
in my opinion, in these first 3 games, Franz looks like the Magic's best player right now. And I think he's put up the numbers to kind of show us that. But Paolo just isn't hitting his shot, so I'm not against it. But
Hot take.
it's what happens when he isn't going to hit his shot on a consistent basis. How is he still
Yeah,
going to help the team get wins? And I think that's what he needs to figure out because he's a bro. I love Paolo. He was in our all playoff team. We put him high regards. He was cooking. So that I'm not too worried about him not turning his season around, and it just started. But I think as of this moment, yeah, Franz. I mean, he's the Magic's best player in my eyes. I mean, he's been averaging what 24, 25 for the first 3 games, and small sample size, but I based it off
he
off
looked
of what I've
good.
seen. He looks really good, and his 3-point shot has become super consistent at this point. First 3 games, ladies and gentlemen. But I think, man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. The way the Magic have been playing has been buns. So I'm going with the Sixers, man. I think Tyrese and VJ are gonna show us a little something tonight. Yeah, they're the Magic's defense is good, but man, the way they just been looking bad for some reason.
And with no Embiid, I think the offense it's got to run through somebody. So I know they have the guards to do it. So that matchup's another good Eastern Conference battle. Probably 2 playoff teams most likely over there in the East. So those 2 matchups are solid at the 6 p.m. slot. But moving right along, we got the Hawks and Bulls. Just glossing over this one real quick. I think Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis were listed as questionable. Same with Reese Shea. And then Kobe White, Zach Collins are still out for the Bulls. They had Josh Giddey questionable, but I'm sure he ended up going. Just the Bulls, bro, are on that win streak. Can they keep it alive? My goodness. I mean, they're winning games out the gate, so you can't complain with that. If you're a Bulls fan, I know you guys are excited to get W's in the win column. It doesn't matter who they come against. And the Hawks, on the other hand, yeah, can Trae Young get it going? They don't look too good. They're actually kind of on the down. The Bulls are on the rise and the Hawks are on the way down. So hopefully it can flip for the Atlanta Hawks so they can figure it out. I think this game will be highlighted by Trae Young. The over was 242 and a half, so they're expecting a lot of scoring. And I think this is a game where 2 offenses can get right, and it might end up being the highest scoring game of the day or of the night. So it should be a good one. I don't know if me and CJ will end up catching it. We have, I'll probably tap into the Thunder and Mavericks game that's at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
But these next few ones as well are still very good games. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
Hawks versus Bulls. Just can Trae Young get it going? Can the Hawks figure it out? And can the Bulls keep winning games? I mean, even with Kobe White not in the lineup, Trey Jones has stepped up and
Man.
done an amazing job, being that kind of second offensive creator. And Matas Buzelis and Vucevic, I think Vucevic had a 30-point or 28-point performance the other night. So
Mm-hmm.
they have scoring. The Bulls look a lot better than the Hawks do right now, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, this is one of those like it might be on a quad box. I'll probably keep up with the score, but not gonna be super locked into it. I'm not gonna lie to you because obviously the Thunder game is probably gonna be on by the time we get off at 3 man, and I'm gonna be locked in with that. But like you said, it's when are we gonna get a Trey Young game? Or when is he going to be efficient? I feel like we haven't really seen that. He hasn't been getting a crazy amount of assists either. I think it's just more so his teammates missing shots because he's getting the ball to them. They're just not knocking them down. But it looks like, man, like another thing, like how we high hopes with them come into this season. Kind of same thing with the Magic. You know what I mean? Like I'm just assuming they got to figure everything out, continuity get down, figure out who needs to be in certain spots, who likes where do teammates like to be on the court when they get the ball, all the nitty gritty type of stuff that you're able to build up through a team for a whole season. They don't have that right now, so they're having to do that these early games. I think they could have a game. I think this is gonna be their game,
I
bro. I
agree.
think Trey Young's gonna turn up. I think the Bulls are home, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm actually going with the Bulls though.
really
Yeah, at
fair.
home, giddy, like they got a little momentum. Hawks can't really guard. We'll see.
I don't think the Bulls can guard either, though.
Yeah, no,
So
that's
that's
why
what
that
that's
total's
that's
so
why I
high.
was saying.
Yeah.
Like if Trey could get it going, but it's if he can get it going. That's feel like that's been our
Yeah, I'm just
question.
not. I'm gonna say I
So
can't trust Trey Young to get it going, bro. Like he's king of going 420 with 20
20
points. Like
points,
it's
yeah,
just like get out of here.
and
Like I'm
he hasn't been getting the assists either. So it's looking like statistically, it's like like what's going on with Trey Young?
oh yeah, it doesn't look right. It
But
doesn't look right.
going into the next game, we got the Nets versus Rockets. The Nets will be without Hayward Highsmith for tonight. They also have Danny Wolf, Dwight Powell, and Zaire Williams as questionable. And the Rockets are obviously without Fred VanVleet. He's out for the season. And Dorian Finney-Smith. Some key storylines. Can KD dominate his former team on the offensive end? And do the Nets have enough offense to keep up with Houston? I think
Cam
I was
Thomas.
gonna say Cam Thomas, bro, 40 piece last night, 0 assists. It's crazy because went to look up his stat line. I think the second game of the season, he had 9 assists. So I was like, oh, are we getting a different Cam Thomas this year? Absolutely not. Drop 40 on your head, 0 assists. But I don't know. I don't think the Nets can, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the Rockets defense is gonna be able to play them really well. I think he's gonna play them physical. Obviously, Cam Thomas is gonna get to a bucket. And even FPJ, I think he might have a good game too. But I don't think they have enough, man. I think the Rockets are proven to me that they're definitely one of the best teams in the West. I think it's us, probably Nuggets, and then them. That's kind of where I see the rankings right
For
now.
sure. For sure.
But with what we've seen from Amen Thompson, bro, his leap this season, Sengun hasn't been going as crazy as he did the game against us, game one of the season. But KD is starting to get into his rhythm. I think he's, you know, proven to us why he is one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. And I think the
For
Nets just
him,
don't have enough to keep up with that. It might be
they don't.
it might be a closer than you expect it to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it might be a little shootout, but I think Rockets are going to be able to get this dub, bro. Their defense is just too good, and I don't think the Nets
I
have
agree.
enough players to be able
Offense.
to
Yeah.
firepower to be able to keep up with them. So I'm going Rockets, but this might be one of those like sneaky good games, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I think MPJ might pop off, and Cam Thomas might have great games. So if that's
Anything's
anything's
possible.
possible, bro. He dropped 40 piece last night against the Spurs, so
Yeah, that's for sure. He's a people were harping on him saying he doesn't pass, but like you said, he had 9 assists. I think
he
his
did.
team doesn't shoot the best either, so it's tough to get assists. But I think that game will be sneaky. I'm going with the Rockets. I think it'll be probably a 12-point game, but I think everybody plays good minutes tonight. I think it's more competitive than you probably expect. So it's pretty
Mhm.
good. But going right along, man, moving right along. Next game, Celtics versus Pelicans. Celtics are without Jason Tatum. We know he's out for the season, or supposedly he might come back, but we don't know. And then Jalen Brown is also listed as questionable. So Celtics duo that won them an NBA championship are the ones on the injury list, which is an absolute nightmare. The Pelicans won't have Kevon Looney or DeJounte Murray for this one. And Yves Missi is also listed as questionable. So, again, they have some firepower out on their side as well. I think the storyline for me, and we'll talk about them in Three Man Weave storylines of the week,
Hmm.
can Boston get a win? They have yet to get a win. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they might be the only team that has not won. Maybe the Wizards are the Wizards 0-3.
The so funny enough, Houston's 0-2, Boston's 0-3, New Orleans is 0-2, and I think that's it. I believe that's it.
Oh, Houston's got to get a win then.
Boston, Indy, Brooklyn, Houston, Pelicans. So
They're all winless.
they're all
Okay.
winless.
So them and those other couple teams, I mean, can you get a win? I mean, after 3 or 4 or 5 games, for example, like the Celtics are 0-5, that would be a bit glaring to me because that means like you're making losing a habit. So can they get their first W against the Pelicans, who are, they look pretty good? I think Zion looked pretty good against the Spurs. They didn't end up getting that W, but they're also 0-2. So these two teams, one of them is going to win tonight.
Yeah. Someone's gonna get a
And
win.
yeah, and I heard Jordan Poole talk about this, but he said in Capital One, it's dead in the Wizards arena. Can the Pelicans be a good home team? Can they just win at Smoothie King? Can they rally behind their crowd and kind of utilize their home court advantage to beat the Celtics? I think the Celtics are at, not at full strength, obviously, but like there's really no excuse. I don't doubt the championship pedigree, and I'm excited to break it down a little bit more because their struggles are pretty glaring, but we'll talk about it later in the show. But I'm probably going with the Pelicans, bro, to be honest with you. I
Me
think,
too.
especially if Jaylen Brown is potentially missing, I got to go with the Pelicans here. I think Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears, Jordan Poole, and Zion are, Trey Murphy as well. They're enough firepower to be able to beat the Celtics, who don't have the defensive upside that they used to 2 years ago. So I think we see the holes that Kristaps Porzingis, Tatum, Horford, when those guys aren't on the Celtics or out on the court, it's really tough for them to utilize their depth and score a lot of points. So I think the Pelicans will be able to outscore them in this matchup, and I'm excited to watch it, bro. You can never hate on the Celtics' downfall, especially as a Lakers fan. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm not biased, but if they get a win, good for them.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm with you, bro. I think the Pels get this one. Just seeing what the Celtics have kind of turned into these past couple of seasons, losing a lot of people, obviously losing Tatum, and then getting rid of having Porzingis and Horford leave and in free agency. They're not, you said it, bro. They're just not as good as they used to be. So I think, the Celtics, especially for you, I bet you love seeing this. It kind of looks like they're in they getting to be in a little dark place, but of course they would have this would happen probably one of the better NBA drafts that we had, so that's not good. But obviously for the season, it's great
Chill,
seeing them
chill,
lose.
chill, chill.
I'll just say it. I gotta be
Chill,
realistic. If
chill.
this
They're
is the
not
case,
tanking. Remember, they're not tanking. Like they'll have their 16th pick or whatever.
you're right. You're
Chill.
right. You're right. But yeah, no, I just don't think
Don't
they
tank.
have enough to with Zion, bro. I think Zion's gonna have a game. He's gonna have him
I agree.
a little doozy of a game, man. We're gonna be like, man, this is healthy Zion, So excited to see him and what he could do. And like you said, the Derek Queen, Jeremiah Feeders, their young guys are stepping up, and obviously they traded up to get Derek Queen, so that was a huge move for them, and obviously lost their first round pick. So the fact that he's even playing, bro, I have him on my dynasty team. I thought he was gonna be out for like a month. See him playing first game, confused as fuck. I'm like, bro, what? So he's been, I think what he's been doing is great, especially being at a center, undersized center at that, but just being skillful, and it looks like he's playing pretty good defense. So you can't complain about that. And I think
Not at all.
they just got a little more juice. Obviously, played the Spurs well, didn't end up winning, still winless, but so are the Celtics. So I think Pels are in, backs against the wall type of mood, and so are Celtics, but the Pels are home, and I think that's going to be a huge thing for them. I've seen what the Smoothie King Center looks like.
Yeah,
Whenever
it's
play
packed
come
out.
come postseason, and they get a
Yeah,
little
it's packed
rowdy,
out.
bro. So I think that they're gonna bring the juice
See
tonight.
red.
I think Pels are
Yeah,
gonna be able to get this one, man. I'm excited to see what this one.
I like it, bro. Yeah, man, and I could take this one away because I think we got the Thunder after this next matchup. But
Bet.
yeah, the Raptors and Spurs are playing next. I think they're going. They played the Spurs played yesterday. I was
Mm-hmm.
able to get a chance to watch that game because my homie who I was working with had FUBU because he loves the Spurs, and so we
Mm.
were able to watch that. And I have League Pass, so I can't watch the Spurs, so I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
They played Brooklyn yesterday, but yeah, Raptors versus Spurs. Spurs are at home. The Raptors don't actually have any injured players on the list, so that's really good for them. I think Jeremy Sohan, Lindy Waters, Luke Cornett, Olenek, and De'Aaron Fox. You know, I think Olenek, Sohan are questionable. De'Aaron Fox is still out. Cornett's questionable too. At this point with De'Aaron Fox, you kind of are just being cautious with him. Whenever he comes back, because they moving on to the storylines. Dylan Harper, Victor Wembanyama, like they have. I think Dylan Harper is contending for Rookie of the Year right now, and can Wemby continue to make his MVP case, doing things that we just haven't seen on a basketball court? And then, yeah, I mean Toronto is an interesting spot because they can be a playoff team this season, but just can they get back on track after the 1-2 start? I feel like their offense isn't clicking as much as we thought it would too. I think IQ started off pretty slow. He's kind of been the odd man out instead of Barrett, but it's just really hard to do that with four players and make that all work, especially all like four ball dominant type players. Like Scotty Barnes isn't really going to score off the ball. Brandon Ingram can score off the ball. Quickly can't really do that, and neither can RJ Barrett. So BI is really the only person who can come off down screens and be efficient off the ball, but everybody else needs the ball in their hand to be useful. So can the Raptors figure out their pecking order? And honestly, guess who's number one in net rating up until this point?
Ooh, is this Scotty?
Sorry, team.
Oh, Spurs.
Yeah. So can the Rockets, can the Raptors put up enough offense against one of the best defensive teams in the league?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that simple. Wembanyama changes games, man, and the Raptors haven't been shooting exactly blazing from three, but I think they'll have to get up a lot of attempts tonight if they want to win. I'm going with the Spurs here. I feel like Fox, Harper, Wemby, Castle, that little trio right there, surrounded by Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, like give me that over the Raptors. Top heavy core with no bench. I prefer the Spurs in this matchup.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree, bro. I think. So, I mean, we told y'all. I was telling y'all. I've been telling Carlos. I've been telling all Spurs fans that this is gonna be a big year for y'all. I kind of was expecting a leap from the whole team in general. Obviously, Wemby's doing his thing, and that was expected. But all the young guys too, like just the way they've constructed this roster is incredible. And I think this is a great example to that. Being
Yeah.
3-0 in the season, potentially going 4-0, and I think they're also winning this game as well. I think the Raptors just don't have enough, bro. They had, like you said, super top heavy, don't really have a bench, and your guys aren't playing to the level that we know that they can be. It sounds like it's a pretty easy matchup for the Spurs, who are 3-0, and Wemby's playing at an MVP level right now. So hands down, going with the Spurs. Hate to say it, but they're like that. But
Yeah, I hate to say it too, man.
go
Thunder and Lakers
Lakers,
fans,
bro.
it's like we
Yeah,
don't want the
we don't
Spurs to
want it.
win.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And we
Absolutely,
live in the area where there's a whole bunch of Spurs fans, so
for
you
sure.
know how that is, bro. But
Yeah,
going into the 7:30 game, with the first 7:30 game of the night, the Thunder are going against the Mavericks. OKC is without Jalen Williams, Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Nikola Topic, and Kenrich Williams. Holmgren is listed as questionable. I think he's going though. I'm pretty sure. The Mavericks are
cool.
without Irving, obviously out for the season, and Dante Exum. Daniel Gafford is listed as questionable as well. Key storylines, man. Can the Mavericks find enough offense to score against OKC? And can Shea continue his MVP case? I think this is going to be a good test for Cooper Flag. Obviously, are still early on in the season. Um, I don't like him playing at point guard, bro. Like I understand the reasoning for wanting to do that for him, but I just think he is better in a role of him coming off like pin downs and getting the balls and getting the ball in spots for him to score easier and not really having him create. Not
Good
saying
take.
not saying that he can't, right? Because I think he can obviously handle the ball, but I like him more in cutting doing backdoor cuts and like just being better like a moving piece for me opposed to him
Factor rule, yeah.
handling the ball and creating the offense. I just think that's a better way for him to score easier points, and I think that's kind of what he needs to get going. But obviously they have D'Lo. They got D'Lo. I forgot about him. He had a great game last night. But I think just coming off of that, we got to see if he can be obviously we know what type of player Cooper Flag can be, but I think the Magic need to just put him in the positions to do that. Obviously, they're not healthy, so it's kind of hard for them to do that right now, and they're experimenting their lineups. Point Flag, I guess, and I just want to see him be in other positions on the court. Not saying that he can't be a point guard. Just think he is better utilized in the 3 or the 4 spots. Just think that's kind of where he's gonna thrive a little bit better. But I think another question: can the Thunder make their threes? I
Ah,
think that's been the question for me. I mean, all season last year, obviously, was able to do what we did without it consistently, but I just don't think right now it's that's why our first 2 games went to double overtime, ladies and gentlemen. We just weren't able to knock down our threes, and obviously we played great defense, but that can only take you so far. And we're a couple
yeah.
shots away from missed shots from being, 1 and 2. So I think it's just last game was a good or what do you say it?
Right step in the direction.
Yeah, step in the right direction. Yep, and seeing Chet be able to knock him down consistently is a great bright spot for us. I think that was something
Yeah.
once he can unlock that, it just opens up everyone else's game. So AJ Mitchell, hoping for a great game from him coming off the bench. Keeping up his 6 man of the year
Fighting.
race. In the front runner. But I think we end up getting this one, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Mavs coming off of I think they played last night, right? Back to back. Cooper Flag got that
They
punch.
did.
Um,
Yeah, they did.
they got Flag, but majority of their guys aren't super old, but on the older side, I would say they're in their prime. And I think we're just we didn't play yesterday, coming off a day of rest, coming to
Yeah,
American Airlines Center.
yeah. I
I
think
think
this
that
one will be
okay.
competitive.
I think so
Like
too.
it just, I think the Thunder will ultimately outlast the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are also defensively not as great as they're expecting to be, which hurts them a little bit there. But yeah, I think the Thunder can easily win here. I think I saw the spread was 8.5, so I might take the Mavericks on the spread, but I think it'll be a decently close game. We'll probably see Shea play his full minutes load tonight.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, especially
you
coming
know,
off of that game,
yeah,
playing
that
like
rest,
29
yeah,
minutes. So I agree.
right,
I think
yeah,
he's gonna go.
yeah,
I'm
bro,
excited.
for
I feel like
sure,
the Mavs Thunder are always great games. Honestly, one of
yes,
the
sir,
one of the
yeah.
better rivalry, quote
It's
unquotes.
like
I
a little
guess.
mini rivalry. I was
Yeah,
about to say. Yeah, but moving on to the game at 8 p.m. Central. We got Suns and Jazz. The Suns are without Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks for this one. I think Dylan Brooks is listed as questionable. We know Jalen Green has that injury. I think it's to his hamstring. So that's now gone on for about a month, I would say. Hopefully he comes back pretty soon.
hopefully.
Then
Yeah.
the Jazz will not have Isaiah Collier and Georges Niang. I think this is one of 3 Man Weave storylines of the week, but can Ace Bailey get it going, bro? It just he's averaging 1 point a game, you know, like 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Hmm.
It the draft class is so good. VJ Edgecombe, Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, Kyle Filipowski, Con Canupo. Like there's so much value. It's the Jazz need him to show up tonight. I think he's probably the biggest storyline of the night. Then the Suns have just have enough viable offense without Jalen Green. I've seen Dylan Brooks step into that role of Jalen Green, taking on the secondary scorer to Devin Booker. I think in a game where you're playing Utah, who's not great defensively, I think you'll be able to showcase your offensive, ability. I'm not saying Dylan Brooks is the greatest isolation scorer of all time, but I think he'll have more opportunity tonight due to Jalen Green's absence. We know Devin Booker is going to put on a good scoring output as well, and just can they also you know, simultaneously play good defense while focusing on offense. I think the Suns are obvious focal point is the offensive end, but Malawak has yet to play a ton of valuable minutes. I don't think Williams has been that much of an impact as much as they thought that he would. So I think the Suns are still trying to get some guys going to have their full roster, but at this moment in time, they just need to be able to get Devin Booker the ball and kind of get out the way. I don't really see a clearer pathway to win there than other than just not letting the Jazz score 120 points. If they don't let the Jazz score 120, I think this win is solid. Not my favorite game on the slate. It's the one at 8 p.m. But yeah, just Ace Bailey, bro. Can he get it going? You
Yeah.
know,
No, yeah, I agree, man. It's bro, the Suns have been looking terrible. I don't know what's
yeah,
going on. Obviously, we were expecting
they're not
Jalen
good,
Green
bro.
and Devin Booker, but bro, they are
They're not
looking
good,
bad.
bro.
It sucks. I'm not gonna lie, man. Just the way they've been playing, I think the Jazz like sneak out with this dub. I think it might be one of those like sneaky,
Marketing? You
yeah.
think marketing
I
gives you
think
something? Okay.
marketing get dropping like a 30 piece or something. I think he's looked really good, bro. And I think, like you said, Ace Bailey, man. Obviously, he's fifth pick in this draft, and just kind of the expectations coming in. Just what can he be? What can he be for us? I feel like I wasn't expecting him to be just right off the rip. I expected kind of be in a streaky scorer, but I mean, like you said, he's averaging 1 point in 3 games, and that's very alarming
Yeah, not
for
even
a
not
player of
even
this
two.
of his caliber. So yeah, definitely
Lottery pick.
wanting to see what he looks like, and I think the Jazz are waiting for it as well. I feel like they're slowly figuring out who are going to be some of the guys that they keep on the roster for the foreseeable future. And obviously, if you're drafting him that high, you're expecting him to be that as well. But I don't know. I think I'll go with Jazz on this. Might do a little cheeky little
Okay.
Jazz because just
Yeah,
bro, the
little flip it. I got you.
Suns just aren't. They're not
They're
looking
at
good,
home.
man.
They're at home, so I don't blame you, man. And the Suns have not been playing good, so one of the worst teams in the West for sure.
Yeah, going on to the next. I think it's this game's at 8:30, I believe. It's the Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Nuggets have no injured players listed, and the Timberwolves will be without Ant, and Rob Dillingham is listed as questionable. Key storylines for this game: can Aaron Gordon continue to scorch from three? We've seen what he's been doing these first
Oh,
couple games of
dude.
the season. It's looking incredible. It's looking like
Oh
what he
God.
was doing in the playoffs. So man, I'm just in the. I gotta believe that this is the Aaron Gordon that we're probably gonna be getting, honestly. Because if you had a
Yeah.
whole off season to do what you do, come back, and you're doing exactly what you were doing in the playoffs
Same
when y'all
stuff,
got
right?
eliminated. I mean, obviously he got injured too that game 7, so he's coming back in form already. I think, man, this is probably the type of the player that we're gonna be getting from AG this season. So if he
I
keeps
have
that
to
up,
agree.
wouldn't put it past him getting an All Star votes and being that type of player because he's obviously Jokic hasn't really been putting up the numbers. It's been because AG's been going crazy, and he's getting triple doubles, Jokic, but hasn't been that 40-point triple double game that
Yeah,
we're kind of
offensive.
expect him
Yeah,
to have.
maestro. Yeah,
And speaking of Nikola Jokic, can he get it going in the scoring department? We just talked about it. I feel like he hasn't really been as aggressive, and even when he was against the Warriors, he just wasn't hitting his shots. So I think it's just him
figuring it out.
getting back into form. We know what Jokic could be. I'm not second guessing his scoring capabilities. We saw what he did last season. 30-point triple double for a whole year, and I think he can very well do that
Best
again.
pieces
It's
ever.
just him getting his footing back, him getting back in form. Obviously, it's a long season, so I wouldn't put it past him to have one of those games. And this is the game to do it. You're going against Rudy Gobert. We know what you do against him. You always usually cook him. No Ant to really have that guy to be battling you on the other side of the ball. And obviously, Julius Randle had an incredible game yesterday. And
He did.
DiVincenzo has also been playing point guard minutes. I don't know if you've realized that. It's kind of
Yeah,
strange.
he has
Did he's
to.
has to? Yeah, I was about to say they have no point guards, but
And Rob just they just don't play Rob.
it's which just
So
blows my mind, bro. They literally traded up to get him, and they don't. play.
I think it's something with his defense. I don't
That's
think it
true.
has anything to do with his offense. It's just he's just a little small.
Yeah, but like,
So, and he,
what would you expect? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think honestly, I think they were expecting him to grow a little bit, but he just hasn't
yeah,
over these last 3 years. I think Rob is like one of the more skilled like ball handlers that we have in the NBA, and
for sure.
when he does play, he plays well.
Hmm.
Um, I just they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I know they haven't traded him and they haven't like sent him to
send
the.
him
They
to.
obviously want him. Yeah, they're. I think they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. He just doesn't get a lot of runs, so
He doesn't
obviously
get run. Yeah.
it sucks to see.
How can you?
It's like a Kaminga
Yeah.
situation, you know. Like you just haven't we haven't seen what he can do, and when he does play, I mean, he's scoring. It's not like he's going like,
Orange.
yeah, he's not like going over. You know what I mean? Like he's getting a
Right.
bucket. So I don't know, just very
Right.
very alarming to see. But I'm going Nuggets on this one, bro. I think coming off
I
a
like
back to
that, bro.
back, T Wolves had a great game yesterday, beat the Pacers, but Pacers are kind of down bad, and I think just they were able to exploit, their missing pieces. And like I said, Julius Randle's great. Got him on my dynasty team, so I hope he has a great game. But I don't think they have enough firepower to be able to keep up with Jokic and what AG and Christian Brown and all that whole roster that the Nuggets have. Man, they Cam Johnson, we really haven't even got one of those type of games from him yet. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him pop off for like 5 threes tonight. I think this is the game
Yeah.
to do it. The Timberwolves are missing their guy, and not saying that Julius Randle can't lead them to wins, but I just don't think he has enough this game. So I got the Nuggets in this one, bro.
Yeah, I like that, bro. I'm gonna have to rock with you as well. I think Jokic is it's just too much offensive firepower, and for them to be at home, give me the Nuggies. But moving on to the 9 p.m. game, man. This is where the good stuff is. We got the Grizzlies and the Warriors. Memphis is missing Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., and Vince Williams. And the Warriors have DeAnthony Melton and Horford listed as out. So DeAnthony Melton, as I always like to say, somehow that guy's still in the league. I haven't seen him play in 2 years, but he's out for tonight. Key storylines: Ja Morant versus Steph Curry. Can Steph continue his unbelievable run at age 38, 37, 38, and just continue to be in MVP form? And then also Cedric Coward. I mean, what an
Mhm.
introduction that he had. Can he just continue his great start against the Warriors in his rookie campaign? I think those two storylines are pretty interesting to me.
Mhm.
Kaminga's playing a lot more minutes now. That's no longer an issue because Steve Kerr has to because he's on that 1 year qualifying offer. But for that 2 year deal, it's just my bad, not a qualifying offer. The 2 year deal with the team option next year.
Mhm.
Um, so he can end up going to free agency and testing it out. So they're doing everything in their power to get him some run. I think Memphis is in an interesting spot just because Scottie Pippen Jr. is such a that's what I was gonna say. I've noticed a lot with Memphis, like how important Scottie Pippen Jr. really is to that team
Mhm.
in terms of depth. I think Jalen Wells and Gigi Jackson have been really quiet, and you get the Grizzlies have honestly been struggling since trading Desmond Bain. So I don't know how they really feel about that trade so far, but looks to me like they're going to be on the short end of the stick of that one. So John Morant's played well. He's played with high energy. You love
Mhm.
to see it.
Yeah.
We love when Jaw's healthy and playing out of his mind. So tonight, I think we just got a pretty good matchup. Two pretty high-powered offensive teams. It's just I think the Warriors are going to win. One, they're at home, but two, their defense is just a lot better. I think they have just better continuity on that side of the ball. Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, Draymond Green, and company. They're going to be able to force Ja to be a jump shooter, force Jaren Jackson to be a jump shooter, and probably get out of the Chase Center with the W. So I'm excited to watch this one, bro. I think these last two games for me will be in my multi-view
Mhm.
because the Lakers play next. Let's just get into that one,
Yeah, go for
honestly.
it.
Trailblazers versus Lakers. Scoot Henderson is out for the Trailblazers, and so is Rob Will. Um, Rob Will and Scoot being out is a big deal in my opinion. I don't think Rob Will's played in a long time.
Oh,
He's
okay.
always out as well, but he's still on the roster. I think Scoot needs the time to be on the court to develop. So those two injuries are pretty glaring to me. But our injury list is crazy. Gabe Vincent, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and our second round pick, our only pick in this draft, Adu Thero. They're all listed as out. I think Jackson Hayes is listed as questionable. So we have a laundry list of injuries for tonight. I think we've seen what Austin Reaves did last game against the Kings. Can Austin Reaves repeat that performance? Can he continue his hot start? He's currently averaging 35 points now with 12 assists and like 6 rebounds, just because there's so few games, so those
Right.
averages get bumped up so much. But yeah, he's currently averaging like 30. Can the Lakers just get enough offensive firepower without LeBron James in the lineup, without Luka Doncic in the lineup? Can DeAndre Ayton be impactful? Can Roy Hachimura step up? I think the offensive question marks for me are my biggest concerns. On the defensive end, though, I think effort level has been great.
Mm-hmm.
I think flipping to Portland, can they rally behind the situation that they're dealing with their coach? That investigation puts a pretty dark cloud over Portland, and can their young core continue to play at a high level? I think Denny Avdia, Shaden Sharp, Donovan Clingan, Jan Hansen, like they have interesting pieces to go along with their vets, and I think this game is going to be really competitive. I spoke about it a little bit almost an hour ago now, but I just think this game for us, the Lakers, it just comes down to being able to I think Kumaro's going to draw the Austin Reeves assignment. So figuring out how to play off of Austin Reeves' creation, we know he's going to get down off the ball screen, kick it out, and guys are going to have to hit open shots. It can't be something where guys are hesitating and not being aggressive on the offensive end. I think that's where the Blazers would get us. But I think the Lakers should win this game, only barely. You could go with the Blazers. I'm super biased. I could see a pathway for the Blazers to win. I just think it's a DeAndre Ayton revenge game, and I think
Mm.
Austin Reeves gives me 30. So
Mm.
I'm gonna go with my team and ride with them till I die with them.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, I was say, yeah, that was a great analysis, bro. I think this is gonna be a pretty good game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think this is one of those like
Sleepers.
sleepers, yeah, especially because it's so late too. So it's like tip off is at 9:30, bro. It's not gonna end till like midnight, but I'm probably gonna stay up for this one, bro. I think this is gonna be a good one. Obviously, I have not obviously y'all don't know, but I got Denny Avita and Donovan Clingan on my dynasty team, so that's always a plus to be able to watch one of those games. But I think I think the defense of the Portland Trailblazers is going to be what keeps them in this game. Obviously, I think the Lakers are humming on the offensive end with AR coming off that 50-point game and just seeing what they are slowly building up. You know what I mean? I think Aiton, like you
Yeah,
said, he's been like you said, the Aiton haters have been very quiet as of late. So
so
I think
quiet.
he's putting now on hush mode, and like you said, that revenge game. I think it's gonna be a good one, bro. Man, it's
Yeah, it'll be a
it's like a
banger.
pick
Like
'em, bro.
tonight,
It's a pick 'em in my eyes
it's a
because
pick 'em.
I,
It's
I,
a pick 'em. It's a
you know
pick
what,
'em. Like you can go with
I'll
you going with the Blazers.
I'll go Blazers just to make it a little interesting. Make the podcast a little. You know what I'm saying? But I think this could go either
Fair
way, bro.
enough.
This could go either
Fair
way
enough.
because Portland's offensive ability and what they've been able to show me hasn't been the greatest either. But I think what they hold their hat high on is the defense. And I think that's, like you said, the Lakers are starting to get that defensive continuity down. And Marcus Smart, like you brought him up, first episode of the year, is a huge part of that. And it's kind of just, trickling down to all the other guys. But, if Portland, if Shaden Sharp, if Denny can get it going, I think that makes it a little more interesting of a game. So I'll go Portland, bro. I'll go with the boys. I think Klingon
Okay,
Klingon Klingon
like
Aiton
that.
matchup is gonna be pretty interesting. I think that's gonna be
I
a,
like
a, a
that,
good
brother.
little battle on the block. So I'm ready. I'm ready.
I
Ready.
respect you for that pick because I wouldn't be shocked for them. I wouldn't be shocked if Portland makes a play-in or a playoff seed.
Ooh.
It's like maybe 8,
I was gonna say,
but if
what
they
are they
like,
like 8, 9 or you?
yeah, probably 8, 9. But
Yeah,
bro, they're the better Western Conference teams.
they are, and they're young.
So
Like
they're
I think
young,
they
like
they got a good. Yeah, shit.
their
I feel
guys
like.
play back to backs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I like that, bro. I like that a lot. I just think they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out. Not tonight though.
Yeah.
Obviously, I got to go with my Lakers. But
Fair enough.
you ready to talk about our 3 storylines of the week, my man?
Yes, sir. Let's get into it, bro.
I got you. All right, my man. See, the first one that I had, this one's just to watch out for. I kind of mentioned it earlier in the pod, but the Luka Doncic, LeBron James injuries. The reason I had this one as a storyline is I think since the NBA put out that memo, there's now going to be a lot more like clarity surrounding who's in the lineup. How that impacts the Lakers is pretty interesting, just based off the fact that LeBron James doesn't have, a timetable to return, which is weird because the injury is just sciatica. So like this stuff is like it's very foggy, which I don't really appreciate. Now with Luka Doncic being ruled out as well, it puts the Lakers in a tough position because he'll be reevaluated in a week or two due to a left finger sprain and a knee contusion.
Mhm.
With those two guys being the centerpiece of our roster, what does the Lakers look like over the next week? Are the Lakers going to go 0-3? Are they going to be able to win some games? Because the LA Lakers are not a losing basketball team, and it's tough for the league when the Lakers aren't performing at a high level. I think LeBron James, Luka Doncic being out puts our core roster in jeopardy. Obviously, like I feel nervous now. Anytime I watch my team, just based off the fact that our roster is pretty bare bones. So I think this is a storyline to keep watch for this week, just based off the fact that the Lakers are currently 2-1. We're one of the better teams in the West. How does this shape up after the week is over? Will we be at the bottom of the West
Yeah.
because we lose 3 games in a row? Who knows? But I think it's interesting because alongside the Shams Charania's reporting on the memo that was sent out today, I just think it kind of encompasses the whole league since these injuries have been popping up out of nowhere. We've seen Embiid, kind of speak to Nick Nurse and say, "Hey, bro, you could just send me home. Like, I don't need to play 20 minutes if like I'm healthy." I think there's just a lot of wishy-washy stuff with it, bro. And I don't really. I keep my ear to the ground with the Lakers stuff. I didn't see where Luka got hurt.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't
So
either.
like and they didn't explain it. So I'm just like, like I'm not saying he's not hurt. Of course, I'm all for protecting the players but like as a fan and like as somebody who keeps up with basketball, it's very wishy-washy to me because like one, if he was hurt, wouldn't you want to specify when and where? Like, because if you're just like, oh, he has a finger sprain, it seems like that's kind of like you're
Yeah,
just like,
you're
oh,
just saying an injury
yeah,
so you
like,
can.
oh, like, yeah, like, so he can get some rest. I'd rather them just say he's resting.
Yeah. Can you
But
say? Can
I
they
guess
say that though? Like, can you say he's just resting? Like, is that, or would they get fined?
they say sickness.
Mm,
They can say illness, but
illness. Yeah.
rest.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's a storyline to watch out for, and I think it can end up flipping the West, like the current standings.
Hmm.
That's why we put it in there. I just think the Lakers are in jeopardy of going, 1-4 over this next stretch of games if they don't have LeBron James or Luka
Look.
Doncic in.
Yeah. Yeah. No. When I got that notey, bro, I was like, damn, it's gonna be a rough next week. But AR
Yeah, it's
started
gonna be
off
a
well. I
tough.
think we'll see. We'll see what that looks like, man. Because like you said, that roster without Luca and LeBron is already it's very thin. So
Very, very
it's
thin.
gonna be interesting to see
Yeah.
what y'all can do, bro.
And if we steal a few wins though, like I said on the last segment, like that proves our team's effort level and like
Right.
the baseline. Like JJ Redick was saying, like if we're able to win these games without Luca, yeah, because let's talk about the good for a second. If we're able to win these games without Luca, without LeBron, I think that kind of proves to the NBA and obviously us doing the pod, like they're
They're
a
the
serious team.
Yeah, they gotta be at that point.
Yeah,
You know what
because
I
like
mean?
their roster, if you're able to go and get like good solid wins with
Without your
not even your
guys, yeah.
without your guys, like, bruh, like that kind of shows that we have depth and we have something there, not nothing. So I think that's a good one to watch out for as the first one of first storyline of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going into the next storyline of the week, Celtics are 0-3. So are
Hmm.
they going to be able to get their first win of the season? They started off the first 3 games, like I said, 0-3. They have lost to the Pistons, Knicks, and the 76ers. And their offensive issues have stemmed from not being able to find scoring around Jaylen Brown. The Celtics also remain thin on the interior, and their bench lacks offensive punch or the depth necessary to sustain the starters coming out. I feel like, can the Celtics get it
Yeah,
together? We wouldn't doubt the champions' pedigree, but the holes in this roster are glaring. We are keeping a close eye on them this week. Let's see if they could get their first win with this short-handed roster. I feel like the thing that made them so great, we kind of talked about it earlier in the pod. when they had their guys, Tatum, Porzingis, Horford, the Pritchards and the Derek Whites of the world weren't asked as much as are asked to provide right at this very moment because that's all they have. You know what I mean? So they don't really, not saying they're not great players. I feel like they've proven to us champions what they're able to do, potential all stars, six man of the years. You know what I mean? They have all these accolades, but I just think there's a difference between being as a starter asked upon to be that type of guy and then just coming off the bench and being great at that one thing. And I think that's where their depth is lacking a lot. They don't really have
Very
anyone
thin.
coming off the bench to be able to do what the Pritchards were doing because now he's having to start, or Derek White was
Start
doing because
right.
now they're having to start. So it's gonna be interesting, bro. I think you said it before, but this Celtics team defensively just is not what it was, and even on the offensive side of the ball, they aren't what they were. So
That's for sure.
it's gonna be very interesting for this rest of the season to see if they could get it clicking because I feel like Jaylen Brown is doing what he can.
He's awesome. Yeah,
He's
he's awesome.
having a all NBA type of season right now, statistically at least, and I
He
think
got
that
40.
yeah, I think he got like 41 the other night. Yeah, so
Yeah, he's
It's
awesome.
not JB or it's not Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean? So I think it's who's gonna be this next guy to step up for them. They don't have much, so it's gonna be hopefully maybe by a committee type of thing. Pitcher, Derek
Oh
White are
yeah,
gonna have
gotta
to
be. It's
drop
gotta be.
15, 20 each for them to be able to win a lot
It's
of
gotta
these
be.
games. So interesting for the Celtics. We saw where their fall from grace in a couple seasons, so it's crazy that how quick things the pendulum can
One
swing.
injury,
You know what I mean? Just one injury
one
away from
injury.
being a potential.
Yeah, bro. Because if they win that finals last year, and I guarantee you some of those cats are still on the roster.
100%. They all
But
probably still are gonna be on that
yeah,
roster.
JT ended up going down, and that changed kind of the course of their season. We'll see if they can beat the Pelicans tonight. But that's the second storyline of the week from Three Man Weave. Then this last one, we've spoken about it a couple times, but Ace Bailey's slow start, man. I mean, Ace Bailey's gotten off to a real slow start for the Jazz this year. I think he's averaging 1 point, 3 boards and just 2 assists coming into 3 games of play. Um, I don't know. It's not shocking to see these rookies struggle.
No,
However, in the
no.
draft class where you're drafted as Dylan Harper, Con Canup,
VJ
Cooper,
Edgecombe,
DJ Edgecombe, like you got to perform, man.
Cedric
And I
Coward.
just told you, Cedric Coward,
Yeah.
Walter Clayton Jr. I
What?
took
Yeah. They
Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson. Jeez.
took a flyer, bro, because
This is
I
a
lost
fucking
last week in
fantastic
Dynasty.
rookie.
Oh, it's
Wow.
so
I was just,
good,
we literally
so
just said
good.
players that probably just have all dropped 20 already.
Oh,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? Like, wow. Sorry to interrupt you. You drafted Dynasty?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but like I took a flyer because I lost last week in Dynasty, but I was gonna say here, like these wins and losses count, man. Like we don't play for nothing.
Right.
You can't just go out there and say, well, yeah, I'm gonna get it going, and it's like your 10th game,
Right. Yeah, like
because
it's
like at some
season.
point, after 5, 6 games, I think he got one dunk in his first game, and it was lit too. He got a good punch out. His
Mhm.
first bucket was a dunk. That's pretty cool. No other scoring after that.
Mm.
And he plays minutes.
Yeah, it's not like
He hasn't
he's.
made another bucket. He made one bucket.
Is it him just
Like,
not hitting his shots, or is he not putting up a lot of shots, or what? Like, have you been paying a close attention to like that? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think I've really sat down
I
and
don't
watched a
really watch
Jazz game.
Jazz
Yeah.
basketball. I'm assuming he's missing shots, but
Yeah.
like, even if you are, it's not like I don't think it's a shot selection thing. I think he's just genuinely being nervous. So
Mm.
kind of begs the question, can he get it going, especially with all of these other rookies that are outperforming him right now? And
Mhm.
currently the Jazz are 1-1. They play the Suns tonight. We'll see if they become 2-1. But Utah really needs Ace Bailey to be the offensive creator they'd hope he'd be, because
Mm.
in this moment in time, I guarantee you, Daryl Morey, the GM of the Sixers, very happy that he ended up going with VJ Edgecombe, right? The
100%.
Hornets, very happy they ended up going with Con Canupo to match with LaMelo Ball. So I think all of these teams are slowly starting to see how their draft picks are panning out. But yes, Ace Bailey starting off slow, and just can't he get it going this week, man? I think it's a really big storyline, because if not, lottery pick. Like you don't get many opportunities, bro. I say he has 30 to 40 games to figure it out. But let's say he's averaging 6 points at game 40. Like you won't really hear us talk about him much, unfortunately.
Man, crazy to think that too, because he was in the preseason, man. He was doing really good. So it's like he's
I'm
shown
sure he'll
flashes.
turn it. No,
I
he'll
just think
turn it around.
yeah,
He'll turn it around.
because like you said,
He's just turning off slow.
he's getting the run. It's just him just not knocking it down. And if that's the case, it just probably is you're not confident in
On him.
on your
Yeah,
ability right now.
it's a confidence thing. It looks like he's a little shaken. And from what I have watched, it seems like he doesn't know when to shoot.
Mm,
Like sometimes, bro, you can't like go into the 1-1-2 dribble pull up.
right,
And then sometimes you're supposed to do that.
right.
And I think he's caught him, if
Trying
that
to
makes
figure
sense. And he's
out.
caught him. Yeah, he's like caught him between trying to give the ball to Lowry and Keontae George and then trying to get his own. But I think all of that, I honestly think Will Hardy needs to do a better job too of just telling him like, hey, go shoot
out there,
20 times
yeah.
tonight. Yeah, and just see. But me and you aren't Jazz fans, but for the Jazz fans out there, and the Utah Jazz offseason file hasn't even came out yet. Like you're gonna hear us speak about it in that video.
Definitely.
You guys have promise, but if you continue to lose like this, yeah, you're going to AJ Depends the city, and the tanking needs to get figured out. I actually have an interesting thing to talk to you about. I was listening to the Ringer podcast, Zach Lowe and the Hoop Collective. They brought this up twice, so I thought it was interesting. But they were saying in the draft lottery to kind of cure the tanking issue that we're going through right now, it would be really cool if at the end of the season, your wins count towards your ping pong balls, not your losses.
What?
So teams like the Jazz, would be forced to play
Yep.
at the end of the year. Like it's fine if you tank, but up until game 60, let's say it flips to where now your wins count. So if you lose, it actually removes ping pong balls. So it's like, I think it would be a really good way. I thought it was dope because I was like, I've never thought about it like that, but that would kind of cure that issue for the Jazz. Like at some point you're gonna have to go out there and play, dude.
Yeah.
Because it can't be like, well, we'll get AJ or Darren Peterson, and then the next year Tyron Stokes, and then the next year like we got to develop, in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I kind of that's very interesting, honestly, because like you're already you're already a bad team. Then you're like a portion of the season you're gonna have to like try to win so you could get a bigger opportunity. That's very interesting. I feel like it would keep it competitive all year long, So it's not.
That's what they were saying.
Interesting.
Like it would make it hard for teams to rationalize losing,
right?
Because even the losing team would need to win. So how could you tell me that you want to lose when it matters for your like the win matters for like you being a bad team,
right?
So yeah, I feel like that's a good. I would. Bontemps said he wouldn't be shocked if that happens within the next decade, just due to the fact that like teams suck so much and they don't give their fans any hope.
Yeah.
Like there's a Jazz fan that bought season tickets that's gonna go to every game and they're gonna lose 60 games.
Yeah.
But like they're gonna go to 30 home games this year and they're gonna all be L's. And that person paid for it and they're happy to be a Jazz fan.
Man.
So I got respect.
Yeah, respects for sure.
There are people like that, bro.
There is.
So yeah, interesting thing to think about. I think that's a good way to end off the show, bro.
End off the show. Yeah. Was there anything else you want to let these people know before we head out of here, bro?
Nah, I'm getting in the multi-view immediately. Got some good food. Think CJ and I got to go do our basketball analysis now. Like me and him kind of laugh about it, but it's our job to watch hoops. So try to turn it on and get on League Pass.
Yes, sir.
But other than that, just keep watching hoops. Get your favorite team. Support them and yeah. NBA
is back. It's back, baby. We are back, and we're better than ever, man. This is your boys over at 3-Man Weave. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Peace. 3-Man.